And so there's duality. A human says pacifism. Another human says, I don't understand. And the human who says pacifism dominates with 1,000 friends. They have pride flags. They're gender neutral. I'm a human who's male. And there's a disagreement. I don't understand why I need to limit my thought and restrict my body to meet the needs of the behavior requested and required by those who are so smart and intelligent and genius. There's conflict. Conflict eventually leads to war, civil war, world war, territorial war, Ukraine and Russia. Now Taiwan and China are fighting with only words now, right now. And there's this duality caused by psychology. There's humans who want behavior to be calm and restricted and for other people to be happy and stimulated and rewarded for their hard work achieving the goals of everybody. Democracy, Democrats, and all those who need their love and encouragement. But anyone who disagrees has very few other options other than a Republican. Mr. Former President Donald Trump, in other words. And worst of all, nobody explains their due diligence. They explain the obvious. And they use punishment with their bodies. Those who have their rules about life on earth and what needs to be limited and restricted so that there's not anybody who's too hormonal and who's too aggressive, too out of place to cause a problem that they'd have to solve, and they can't solve the problem other than someone stopping what they're doing before they cause the disruption. My friend Jeff Boutel had a heart attack. He was a Bernie Sanders supporter for a long time. Bernie Sanders had a heart attack. Limiting the body and the brain have consequences humans still have yet to acknowledge. Using technology to explain the intelligence they have in their brain with their neurons, with the smart words they speak about what they know, with what they've learned about their synapses going with their neurons, and how they can do a quantum mathematical equation on a computer with a new device they call a quantum computer. And then there's language. A Chinese dialect, a Russian tone, a United States of America English, a European sound, an Indian noise. All kinds of different explanations for trying to figure out how to stop suffering. Previously, humans used technology, the atomic bomb, submarines and aircraft carriers and then eventually a computer. To have less suffering during war they could never stop, arguably lacking what humans have at their disposal now. Humans who used to have to share information on a telephone, a written letter. Now, with emails and secure phone lines, and plenty of options, to solve a problem with two humans communicating and interacting in the world. Not only the due diligence now with communication, sharing information, but how information has been saved. There's no longer a need for a stinky library with a Freudian librarian who practices Jungian meditation they learned at yoga class. Anybody can go to Amazon, buy some textbooks, and go get their due diligence. And so eventually the problem with psychology has to do with agreeance. With body and brain. Not just a person, a human, learning what they did with intelligence and technology and genius and brilliance with computers and taking over the world, militarily and psychiatrically. But two humans interacting who understand the depth and the complexity and the difficulty and the struggle and difficulty with fixing a problem involving psychology. A person can learn all the parts to psychology and do what I did. But when they speak, there's an obviousness to their limits. They explain and explain and explain, and they're so brilliant with their words. At the end, everyone goes, "Oh, okay." But very few people go, "Oh my gosh, that's a lot of fucking work." The problem's not hard to identify and figure out. Hippies did it in the 60s and 70s enjoying drugs and then built computers and made millions. Now live in houses they call essential and necessary, a human right, and have their social services and all this stuff provided for those people like me who are retards and dumb and stupid and homeless and fucking wasting their earth. In so many words. Their due diligence has to do with all of the parts, but nothing else. No struggle, other than the politics and the activism. No difficulty other than the networking they needed to do to have friends and supporters. A psychology problem with duality has nothing to do with a campaign, a slogan, a business. And unfortunately, has to do with humbleness. Most humans refuse to acknowledge and admit. So excited about their new software and so good about their cars and so well spoken at their parties, with their dinners, with their companions and their loved ones and their acquaintances and their comrades, doing what psychology does now. Stimulation, reward. Until humans have the capacity to accept their stupidity, not much will change, unfortunately, and worst of all. Children will grow up and do what their parents did, just like everyone does now. And even worse, with all the computers and addiction to light and fascination with sound. Not growing up in a world with a telephone, a place to eat, and a room to sleep in a home. People walk around talking nowadays with what they see other people are doing and what they are perceiving with their brains and bodies socially. Having no interaction, but having the awareness with their attention to know what's going on all the time. Going fast, going fast, going fast, going really, really slow. Doing all of this work in the world and never explaining what are they doing and why are they doing it. They're using their energy, they're using their body and brain and neurons and synapses and the rest of their anatomy, talking about behavior. Small amounts most of the time. Such small amounts that I just have to go, wow. Huh? And there's the problem. So many people trying to solve a problem, not having to do with simplicity and casual decisions.